All right, we're here on Mackinac Island with City Council President and mayoral candidate Mary Sheffield. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So coming into this week, I kind of assumed that this would be a big opportunity for the candidates to shake things up, to really kind of make a good impression. It's a different environment than we're used to in Detroit. These are business leaders. I don't know how many of them are going to actually be Detroit voters. What are you trying to get out of this week? We had a debate tonight. I assume this is a big opportunity, but you tell me.
I think for me, it's really letting the business community know how important their continued partnership is in the growth of Detroit. I want them to see me as a partner, as someone who is going to be leaning on them for both advice and continued support. That we hope that their support was not just in the person, Mayor Duggan, but in the city Detroit and our continued growth. And so that really is my whole mission here, is to continue to meet with our philanthropic, our corporate support. There's some unions represented here as well, and just to let them know that we need the continued partnership and collaboration. And under a Sheffield administration, I want to be a strong partner with our business community, because people needs business and business needs people, and we have to be able to bridge the two together.
There is a narrative that the business community is kind of sitting on the sidelines right now and waiting maybe until the primary is over. I'm not exactly sure. What is it? Are you getting that sense, or what are you trying to tell them to get them off the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've received numerous support from the business community. I think we're going to anticipate more forthcoming. But I think the most important thing is letting them know, giving them the comfort, neutralizing any ideas that a Sheffield administration or anyone will be anti-business. My policies have always brought business and community together, and there's no doubt that under a Sheffield administration, we will continue the economic growth of our city, ensuring that we're creating good paying jobs for our city and attracting high growth and high demand jobs in Detroit. As I'm talking throughout this conference, there's a consistent tone and theme that we want to see the continued growth and momentum of Detroit. It's very important that we continue the economic growth of Detroit, and I know that under my leadership we'll do that.
There's a lot of discussion of the neighborhoods, obviously. I feel like that's like a central theme in this race, is like investing in neighborhoods. Can you talk to me about some of the specific problems that people have brought up, either in your district or across the city? We're talking about improving life in the neighborhoods. What does that exactly mean? Like affordable housing, safety, education, all that's important, but like what specifically do people want to have happen?
I mean, I think all of those things are what I've heard. More importantly, they just want more investment in our communities. Whether it's affordable housing in our neighborhoods, whether it's more grocery stores, amenities within our neighborhoods is important. And the cost of living, reducing property taxes, I think is a big one as well. So without a doubt, whether it's even with business or with residents, there is a consensus that the next administration has to have more of a focus on our neighborhoods. If we want to grow our populations and build a place where families can come back, it starts in our neighborhoods.
And I know, amenities, I hear all that. Like, can you drill down a little bit more for me? Like, I hear people say we want more simple thing, like trash cans, so that there's less littering. People want more enforcement of speeding, like on Mack Avenue over where I live,
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are, who you're talking to. But I think a combination of basic quality of life issues, whether it's access to home repair grants, whether it's sidewalk repairs, right? People who've been living in their homes 30, 40 years, and they're trying to get a dead and dangerous tree taken down, or there's sinkholes in their alleys, right? These are the type of neighborhood infrastructure improvements that I think oftentimes dismissed when we talk about neighborhood development. Sometimes it's just basic quality of life issues that have been neglected for some time. When it comes to amenities, I always hear grocery stores. I always hear we want more restaurants in our communities and things to do within our own neighborhoods, not having to go downtown to do those things. So these are all things I'm excited about. Last week I stood with the mayor and some council members announcing an ordinance that would make it easier to do business in Detroit, which is going to eliminate some of the licensing process for restaurants to open up shop in Detroit. So we're starting those steps now to make it easier to open up these type of amenities in our neighborhood.
It's interesting. You're in a position where you're still leading the council, so you can actually take action on some of these things. Is there anything else you have planned, like legislatively, for this year that will address some of the things you're talking about as, a mayoral candidate?
Legislatively, right now is going to be the big one. Is going to be making it easier to do business. That ordinance. We also have a retiree fast track resolution that will be forthcoming that will prioritize all of our retirees in existing city programs. I'm excited about that. And then we have maybe one or two possible legislative ordinances that will be forthcoming. But right now, we really have been honing in on quality of life issues, sidewalk repairs, alley cleaning, and ensuring that those basic services are met for our residents.
Who have you been meeting? Who are you hearing up here? Or what have you been hearing from folks about the mayoral race in general?
I think people are excited. I think, again, I've been able to neutralize a lot of concerns from the business community. And so I've been hearing a lot of very positive response from business that I've done the work, that I've been here, and that day one, they believe that I'm ready to continue the progress of Detroit. So, I think there is a tremendous amount of love, I think, for Mike Duggan. And I think there is some I want to say uncertainty, but people got to know Mike over the last 12 years. He had a great relationship with the business community. And so I think there's definitely going to be some sentiments missing him and wondering how this will continue. But I think overall, the reception that I've received from residents in Detroit have been overwhelming.
I was talking with somebody last night who was interested in what your approach would be to permitting events and creating spaces where people can enjoy, all the cool like arts and culture that we have in our city without, police interfering or, getting shut down. Really what I think they were looking for is more consistency in the permitting process. And that is under the mayor's office, if I'm understanding that correctly. So what can you tell us about how you would make it a better place to do those kinds of cultural events?
I think you may have been at the event that I was at with the artist.
I wasn't, but I saw some videos from it.
So, I think the idea is we want to encourage and create an environment where it's easier to have events in our community, not make it harder, and not punish those who are trying to bring a positive event to our city. And so I'm interested in looking at how we can improve our events process for neighborhood organizations, as they call them, block parties or neighborhood gatherings that are done in a safe way, but that doesn't overburden them to go through various city processes to have an event.
I think there was a lot of
do it in a safe way.
There was a lot of concern, I think, about the block party rule changes that it would shut down people's ability to just have fun and gather,
And we don't want one incident to punish everyone. But we do have to be cognizant of the fact that we want to have safe spaces in our city, but we want to make it a clear process that everyone can adhere to and be able to have a successful and productive.
I mean, coming off movement weekend, it's we do a really good job of having these big events that draw people from all over, really showcase the city. I hear that people who are trying to do smaller things are that's where they're running into problems, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think if we can do it for the NFL, if we can do it for the movement, the Grand Prix, where we have these large gatherings, we definitely can do it for smaller events. And it just has to be a will to work with those organizations. And to me, that's very important, because when we talk about productive, positive, safe gathering spaces for people in our city to do, we have to encourage those, right? Not discourage those, because that is a positive outlet for our young people to gather. So it's very important to me. I want to look at how we can improve that process.
I'm going to let you go, but I want to know about your mindset coming into this debate. This is the first debate. It might be the only debate. There's some talk of some others maybe, but this is the only one scheduled so far. What's different about maybe your approach to this compared to some of the forums that we've seen you in?
Well, I hope that this is I see that this will be organized well. I think it's going to be a respectful dialogue where we also all have the ability to speak and not be talked over. Have our time to make our statements, and hopefully some substantive dialogue will come from it. It's not much you can relay in a minute in our responses, but the idea is at least you get to hear our vision, our priorities, and be able to relay that to the business community here in Detroit. So I'm excited about the opportunity, and I think, again, one forum is not going to be able to do everything, and I'm going to continue to have those relationships and continue this discussion as we get into election.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Malachi.
Of course.
Yes.